Hello, my name is Micah Blacklight. I am a human being with opinions. I'm a black man with opinions. And this one goes out, this is a question. This is like an open letter. Think of it as like an open letter to all my trans activists, trans allies, trans folk, and then folk who are pro trans youth. I just have questions and I'm curious. I will preface this by saying I'm a father. I'm a proud father of a 9-year-old little girl. I am incredibly grateful to be her father. I'm grateful to be parenting alongside her mama, and that's a thing. But part of what got me thinking about youth is just the fact that I have a daughter. You know, no, she's not trans, etc. But just what's happening in youth lives. So I was just looking at some of what goes into like trans affirming care, gender affirming care, and things like puberty blockers, and I didn't even know that existed. And so the deeper I get, the more I'm asking questions. And so one of my questions to y'all right now, to all my trans folk right now, is what do you think of the possibility that we are potentially sending the wrong message to our youth? Let's take a step sideways. Say you have a really dark-skinned girl who lives in India or different parts of Africa or in America, right? You have a really dark-skinned little girl or a little boy, and they don't like the fact that they're really dark. You have a chubby little boy or little girl, and they don't like the fact that they're chubby, right? So you have somebody who's dark-skinned. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's an entire industry for skin lightening creams. Entire industry. It's like a multi-million dollar, it may even be $1 billion, but it's absolutely a multi-million dollar industry that is entirely preying upon the insecurities of people who have been taught to believe that they're less than because they're too dark. There's an entire industry, plastic surgery industry, that is nip and tuck for all the people who feel too fat. Not just the ones who are like are morbidly obese, but people who are just not even necessarily chubby. They're going out and getting surgery to take away excess fat because they've been told that they're less than if they're chubby, if they're fat, if they have cellulite, right? We have a little girl, and she's black. She's mixed race. And one of the favorite books that we have for her is the one that's like, I love me because I'm me. I love me just the way I am. I'd love me as this or that. If I had big hair or small hair, if I had fat or skinny, I'd love me regardless, right? And so what I'm wondering is there a possibility that we're sending our youth the wrong message when we are encouraging them to do things to their bodies that are lasting, that are, I would use the word drastic for sure, but let's not even say that because that may mess with some folk, that are lasting, that are permanently transformative of their physicals, right? And what I'm asking is like, what do you think of the notion that whatever happened to, love yourself, as you are, love yourself as what you have. I 100% understand the people who like have a leg cut off or they're missing an arm and they really like to have an arm. So they do surgery or they get some kind of implant or maybe they get a prosthetic limb, so now they can have another limb. They can walk again, right? Like that to me is a very different thing from someone who's like, I'm too dark. I want to be lighter because people have told me, or because I see it. I see other people who are lighter and I'm like, they're beautiful and I'm not. So I want to be beautiful. I want to be lighter, right? I'm wondering if you're not making the same parallels when it comes to the trans folk, particularly the youth. The adults have had a chance to live with their bodies, to be with them, to remain disassociated, dysphoric, to remain unhappy with their bodies, and they're grown adults so they can make the choice for themselves. And if they choose to cut things off or change or transform, okay, cool. But the youth, are we sending the wrong message? By instead of being like, yo, this is your body. And I can understand that you may feel like a different soul inside. You may feel like a different spirit inside. Maybe you feel a different essence inside, but this is your body. And it's beautiful. And you're beautiful as you are. As opposed to sending that message, we're sending a different message and being like, change it. Go cut it up. Go. You can afford it, and get some hormones to stop this from happening, and get some chopping to make these go away, and get some cuts and get some stitches and get some, and now you can match your insides. I'm just curious as to what y'all think about that message. I'm curious as to if that's ever crossed your mind. I'm curious as to, do you feel like perhaps we're we're kind of moving quickly, very quickly, in directions that are not necessarily beneficial in the long run? I'm just curious. I'm curious as to what y'all think. Leave it in the comments. Hit me up. Talk to me. DM me. I'm here for the conversation, not for no battles. Right? Like, I'm here to have actual conversations. I feel like one of the things that's happening with a whole lot of our folk is we're unwilling to have conversations, particularly with people we don't agree with. And in order for us to move forward, especially if you're saying you're concerned about the youth, you're concerned about our futures, then we need to have the conversations. All right.